setting new standards in podcast excellence. You have joined the WBT, fully focused on business and taxes. Here is your host, Michael Lodge.
And welcome to the WBT. This is Michael Lodge. Glad you've joined me. I don't know where you're at, but listen right here. It is cloudy and looks like it could rain at any moment. What is our conversation going to be about? Every business should mediate. I'll be right back.
This is brought to you by Lodge & Co., a business and tax advisory firm where your success is our goal. Call us today toll-free at 888-681-1518 or visit us at www.lodge-co.com and learn more about what we can do for you. Lodge & Co., your source for sound business and tax services.
Mediation is important. It's one of those opportunities that you have to bring two sides together and negotiate and come to a resolution. Business mediation should be a part of every single business. I push this every single day. Instead of immediately going to court, you should be doing mediation. Big or small, mediation is dealing with disputes and conflict internally or outside the business. Internally, I mean, there might be employee disputes, there might be management disputes, there might be disputes between the partners. But there's some type of conflict that could be internally and then outside the business with vendors, with contracts, with all sorts of different entities that may want to take you into court. The mediator with business experience has the ability to bring the two sides together very quickly, hear both sides confidentially of their stories, and bring the parties to an agreement that is fair to both sides. Companies should take control of conflict. They need to take control of conflict. You know how much conflict costs companies every single year? Productivity goes down in this conflict internally. Sales go down. A whole variety of issues of conflict creates a stagnant company in certain areas if you don't deal with conflict very quickly. You need to take companies, businesses, small businesses, nonprofits, need to take control of conflict and find a way to resolve these costly issues quickly through mediation. Now, business conflicts are based on a myriad of set of factors, including subject matter, the industries that they're in, the cultures that they're in, the geography that they're in, emotional and monetary concerns. A conflict inflicts a cost on a business in terms of finances, time, resources, and impairment of organizational performance. You see it every single time when there's a conflict within, or sometimes even externally. When direct negotiations stall or even fail, the business must look to alternative methods for a solution, including litigation, arbitration, and mediation. Mediation is where you need to begin. In evaluating which avenue to pursue, a business will consider several factors, and we're going to talk about those. Although different businesses and circumstances may result in different weighting of what we're going to talk about, but these are items that you need to take into consideration that will let you take control of conflicts and disputes. A, efficacy of result. efficacy of result. A business seeking control over its destiny will prefer a mutually acceptable agreement rather than gambling on a win or loser result determined by a party and circumstances beyond the control of the business. B, time. A short time frame between onset of dispute and its resolution help maintain business momentum and focus on business goals. C, confidentiality. Public airing of a business dispute may serve to undermine public confidence and damage your reputation, hampering business growth or even reducing market share or profit margin. Because you have to realize that once you file a legal case, that's public record. If you go into mediation, it's confidential. Unless somebody leaks. If they leak, that's a bad thing. Talk to Trump about that. Confidentiality is very important when it comes to mediation. Whatever you say to the mediator, it will never go any further. When you're done with the mediation, all of the records of that mediation are destroyed by the mediator. And then D, reputation. Hand in hand with confidentiality, business reputation is an intangible asset that requires careful safeguarding. Once that gets out into the public and gets out into the media that you guys are suing, listen, I've been in this situation before, it gets into the press. Creditors begin to call. Attorneys begin to call. Everybody begins to pound on your door because they see money. That's one of those things. In mediation, that doesn't happen because no one knows. It's just between you and the other party and the mediator. So it's not getting out there into the public and it's not damaging your reputation. E, cost. Businesses, even nonprofits, okay, because nonprofits are out there and they have conflicts internally and externally also. Remains successful by keeping costs, both monetary and non-monetary, as low as practicable. It's a lot cheaper to go through mediation than it is to go through the court systems and for it to take for so long to get done. And then F, which is the risk. While risk is unavoidable for business, the successful ones are able to minimize risk and take conscious effort to control risk to a least some extent. And this risk, I mean, the risk is there. But there's a higher possibility of, in fact, 85% possibility that risk will be put to the side and a resolution or an agreement will come out of mediation. It happens every single day. So while litigation or arbitration may be preferable in some cases, such as need to establish a legal precedent, availability or protective legal remedies, or importance of the matter to a wider audience, in most cases, careful consideration of the factors described in what we just talked about, the A to F items, will result in a decision to try mediation as the dispute resolution mechanism of first resort. With arbitration, it's a clear second choice. The likelihood that mediation is the best dispute resolution mechanism for a business is enhanced when taking into account the flexibility the mediation offers on customizing a process to the needs of the parties, such as if time and cost are of paramount importance, the mediation can be set at the earliest practicable date. It's hard some days when you haven't had coffee. Practicable date and discovery can be streamlined. Once the decision is made to use mediation as the dispute resolution process, a business should take a mediator with at least the following characteristics. Sufficient experience for the sophistication of the matter to be resolved. In other words, the experience level that he has or she has in business, in his knowledge of business. The adherence of the codes of conduct applicable to the mediator in the mediation, and the ability to maintain the level of confidentiality and trust needed by the parties both during and after the mediation. So if negotiations to resolve a business conflict fails, a business should carefully analyze its requirements in selecting a dispute resolution process. In most cases, the business is likely to be best served by using mediation services. In mediation, you have to, especially business mediation, you have to have knowledge of the practices and the process of business in a lot of different areas. I look at my past experience and what I've been involved in since 1984 until now. Yes, I am very, very old. Do not make fun of my age. I'm very sensitive. Not really. I don't even care. But a business mediator that has a strong business background, and so we'll look at mine, for example. In my practice, I have dealt with cogeneration power facilities. I have dealt with call centers and the establishment of call centers. I have dealt in healthcare, especially in healthcare HR and staffing. I have dealt in real estate by owning real estate companies. I have, what else have I done? Accounting principles and practices and taxation. I have a strong background in that. In the formation of companies, I've done thousands of formations of companies. I have dealt with construction companies, recycling companies. I have almost touched almost every company, shipping companies, international companies, companies in Asia I have dealt with. So I have this background in the management, the finance side, and the taxation side of all of these different companies. Real estate, when it comes to contracts and construction contracts and everything else, I have touched it in some form or the other. I have heard almost every story. I have sat in many meetings. So make sure, what my point is here is, make sure that you have a mediator that has a strong background in business administration or HR or whatever the field that you need to be mediated in, so that he can grasp what's going on or she can grasp what's going on very quickly and can bring the two sides together and talk to them and kind of guide them through the process of what the dispute is all about, the conflict is all about. So, mediation does work. And every single business should have a mediation clause within their contracts, mediation and arbitration clause within their contracts, and they should use the mediation process to resolve so many different issues. Sometimes it's even issues within the company. There may be a team that may be working on a technology advancement, but there's a dispute, there's a conflict between the team members of how to resolve it quickly. Sometimes a mediator has to be brought in to get them all on the same page one more time. That's another form of mediation. Sometimes there are employment mediations where employees are not getting along with the other people and there is a conflict and there is a high amount of pressure within the organization because these two individuals or three or four individuals are not getting along. The communication process is gone. The respect is gone. So a mediator is brought in to get everybody back on the same page. Then there's contracts and there's vendors and there's all kinds of different things that people see differently that go into conflict. And there's a lot of promises that have been made and promises that were reneged upon. That creates conflict. So a mediator is brought in. So I say to all of you in business, big or small, doesn't matter what size it is, if you have a dispute, resolve it quickly through mediation. You save a lot of money, and a lot of money that you could be losing because revenues are going down because of the conflict. This is Mike Lodge. Listen, if you have any questions or you need to leave me a response, send it to text me. Text me is the best and fastest way of 818-252-5682. 818-252-5682. Everybody go out and have a great day. Remember, if you have a conflict, mediate it. I'll talk with you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the WBT with Michael Lodge. Join us again tomorrow as we explore more about business and taxes. Follow us on iHeartRadio and go to our podcast website at www.wbtpod.com and listen to all of our podcasts and read our blogs.
This podcast was produced by Michael Lodge, fully focused on content.